The days to Christmas are drawing closer, and as we light the joy candle around the Advent wreath, I find myself pondering what real joy is all about, especially this time of year when people are expected to be jolly. The older I get, the more I realize that joy is the ability to smile, even though the tears of grief and loss fall freely down our cheeks. Joy is knowing that God is holding us. And in this season, when gifts come our way, we realize that the greatest gift is God's promise that He will wipe away all tears. In all the busyness of preparing for the big day, I find myself thinking about Charles Dickens' classic, A Christmas Carol, written in 1843, where Ebenezer Scrooge is visited by the ghosts of Christmas past, present, and future. I took some time to go down to New Jersey, where I felt like I was haunted by ghosts of Christmas past. I tripped down memory lane and visited the church that ordained me 17 years ago. It's a beautiful church founded in 1724. And as I walk among the old headstones, I think about the ghosts of Christmas past. The many hands that I shook here after worship and all the hugs. A cardinal appeared to me while I was in the cemetery. These birds have been associated with Christmas time ever since the 16th century, being messengers of great faith and joy and hope to come. They're also believed to be angels of those that we have loved. There's a Welsh word that I think explains this longing for Christmases past, hiraeth. While there is no adequate English translation, hiraeth is a deep longing for something that is more than just homesickness. It's more of a melancholy that comes for wanting a past that can't be recaptured. Say hi. We're going to the Wick House. My visit to a place where in 1779 George Washington's troops camped at a place called the Wick Farm was my way of recapturing a Christmas past. So many childhood memories are haunting these historic houses and these trails in which I've hiked so many times. Hey, Dad, is there Christmas dinner in the smokehouse?
Yeah. Ooh, look at the hammers in here. And the fish.
Perfect for our Christmas meal. You thought it was the outhouse?
Yes.
Did you build this for me? In December of 1779, when the soldiers began to build these huts, there were several blizzards making their work hard. But they persevered, and on Christmas Day, they were able to move into their rustic huts. I especially found that sign, "Rebuilding in Progress," a powerful reminder of what this season is all about. A season of Advent leading us to Christmas, in which God is asking us to rebuild, to recreate, to begin fresh again. There will be no Christmas past to cry over or regret, and Christmas present can be full of great joy and promise. And our futures? Well, with God, He holds them lovingly in His hands. So these soldiers' huts, they are what captured my imagination when I was a little girl. We used to come here and play in them and then run down this big hill. I have such happy memories. It's so wonderful to be here right before Christmas with my dad, as I haven't been here, my gosh, in maybe 20 plus years with you, Dad. I'm so happy to share it with all of you. Christmas memories and what really brings us joy on the week that we have lit the joy candle around the Advent wreath. Connect with the joy that you had in your childhood. Connect with the joy that makes you smile this day, even when it brings some tears to you. Because even though I'm really happy to be here, I'm very emotional too, as I think about how old I am, how many years have gone by, and to be here with my dad at this age. Here's to Christmas joy, a reminder that even with the sadness and with our tears, God is still good, and that those memories that we have been given, those are the things that we cherish, and those are the gifts from above. And it is the ghost of Christmas Present who gives us a great reminder in A Christmas Carol when she says, "There is never enough time to do or say all the things that we would wish. The thing is to try to do as much as you can in the time that you have." Well, I'm back from my trip from New Jersey. It was a whirlwind. I had the wonderful opportunity to trip down memory lane. It really weighed heavily on my heart to take the time to go. I very rarely go to New Jersey from Vermont because the traffic is just crazy. I am not the best driver. I'm a nervous driver, and I've gotten used to being on roads where there aren't many cars. So to venture down into a very congested area, it just adds to my stress. The other reason why, too, I don't visit as often as I should is because the place that was my childhood home is so different from what I remember. I actually said to my father, if you dropped me here in the middle of this town, I would have no idea where I was. Everything that I remember is gone. It's amazing how much an area can change. I know that change happens, that nothing stays the same, but when everything that you once knew and cherished is gone, then it makes you pause and you realize that the only thing you have left now are the memories. So I went down, and I'm glad I did. It is time that I need to make more time for those that I love. And I will confess that I struggle with actually making the time to be there for others. So I'm back in Vermont, and I've had a lot of time to think about my whirlwind trip. And that's the one thing that really came to me, is the fact that the best gift we could give others is the gift of our time. Take those moments to be present. And I know I say this a lot, but I guess I don't practice what I preach. And knowing that I should be doing this, it just then weighs heavy on me, and it makes me feel guilty at times. And then it's just a very vicious cycle that I'm in, of feeling guilty, of knowing what I should be doing and I'm not doing. So I decided that as this year does come to an end, and we are going to be welcoming in a new year in a few weeks, God, a week or two, it's pretty scary. I'm already thinking about what I need to do for the new year. And I am going to commit making more time for others. And how can I have a more balanced life? Not letting all the things I need to get done to dictate my time. How can I truly live in the moment and be present, fully present to those I love and to the divine? So now I'm back in the home that brings me to life, and my candles are lit, And I have time to breathe and to pray and to ponder and to think about the gifts that I really need to give others this Christmas. The gift of time, the gift of being fully present, the gift of listening, the gift of unconditional love. Those are the gifts that matter the most. I am the worst gift giver. I have no idea what to get people. It's pretty embarrassing. My husband laughs because I know the gifts that I want. I have a whole long list. I know that sounds really selfish of me, but for other people, I'm just clueless. I really do envy those who are really good gift givers. I recently realized that people who are good gift givers are good listeners. They're the ones who really notice the other person. Great gift givers are those who are fully present to another. And that is why the presents that they give are just so amazing. So I had an idea. It's a joke in the family that every time I call my parents, my dad is at the local grocery store. My mother swears that he lives there. So sure enough, we went to that local grocery store and my father knew his way around to the point that I joked with him that he really does live there. So we entered the store and he wanted a mince meat pie. And he made a beeline right for the pies. He knew exactly where the bakery section was. And there was a table with the pre-made pies all laid out on it. And he's looking at each one of them and he couldn't find a mincemeat pie. There was the apple, there was a blackberry, there was a custard pie. And he looked a little disappointed that there was no mincemeat. So he settled for a pumpkin pie. But I make homemade mincemeat, actual meat that is boiled and you mince it up and then you add brandy and brown sugar and lots of spices and raisins. It's a very old recipe. It was a way of preserving meat. So I have my homemade mincemeat. It's a little batch, not a lot because it is quite pricey to make and nobody else likes it except for myself and my father. So I decided to take my little stash of valuable mincemeat and I'm going to make him a pie. That is the whole secret of gift giving, paying attention to what is going on. When I saw the disappointment on my father's face in that grocery store where he couldn't find the pie that he wanted, I realized that I had exactly what he had wished for. And I can give what I have, what little I have, and create a beautiful gift for him. So I'm going to give it some more thought for the people that are in my life that I love and to really start noticing and perhaps listening more to them. I think my husband would appreciate that. And paying more attention to the wants and needs of others because I don't want to be a bad gift giver anymore. One of my favorite Christmas stories when I was a child was The Little Drummer Boy, a story about an orphan who has his little animals that he travels with and he plays his drum to earn money. And one night he notices people making their way to Bethlehem following a star. And he's curious and he goes with his animal friends. And as he was making his way into the city, his little lamb got hit and was close to dying and he is distraught. But then he sees the three wise men. Now, it's theologically correct. The wise men didn't come until later, but we'll put all that aside. Creative license, okay? So he sees the wise men. He knows that they are kings, and kings are powerful. He runs to the wise men and he pleads with him, "Please, you're a king. You know what to do. You could save my little lamb." And the king looks at him and says, "I can't." And the little boy is crying. He's like, but you're a king. You can do this. And he said, "I'm an earthly king. But there is a king of all kings who can save your little friend." And then he points to the baby. Now, this little boy, the drummer boy, is confused. He's like, the babe? The babe can save my little friend? And he still doesn't understand. Makes his way to the manger where baby Jesus is. And he notices that other people are bringing gifts, and he doesn't have any gift. He's a poor boy. And then he looks at his drum and he realizes, I could play for him. And he begins to play. And I love when the song goes that the ox and lamb kept time. I could just imagine them. And then he stops playing, and we're told is then that baby Jesus smiles at him. I played my best for him, and then he smiled at me. I want to be a good gift giver this year and always. But I'm now realizing that begins with me being present, me recognizing the gifts I have to give. So here's to a season of us all becoming incredible gift givers. Here's to a season where we realize that we have gifts that we can give the world. Here's to a season of realizing that you, yes, you, are indeed a gift that God has given this world. So, how are you going to share the love? How will it be that this day, the little babe in Bethlehem will be smiling upon you because you played your best for him? Right, Ruru? Well, I had a special mincemeat pie to make for my dad. Thanks be to God.